Hi, it's Monday night, the 7th of December, and day 341 of my journey to business alignment. As you know, I love calling my daily activities living the dream. Every day is a day of discovery and a day where I get to see more pieces of my dream that I attracted into the portal of my mind, and through my taking action to do those daily tasks, I'm manifesting them into the world of the physical. It's so incredible. My power statement for this morning said, I will continue to check off the next tasks on the list of the remaining prioritized Ontoport tasks as I complete them one at a time. I will keep doing this, focusing on getting them all done as soon as possible so that my website can be launched and go live on the web. Well, man, oh man, at the top of the list was a review of the Good to Know Monday Tips email video setup that I have got. I had it set up, but I wanted to make sure it was working all right so that I could make sure it's working as I had envisioned it to work, where someone signs up and bam, they receive those emails and it's a video clip. Before I knew it, I already had a Monday tip email hit my inbox because the rep who helped me on my first hour onboarding call had set it all up for about 2 months worth to have emails go out starting on the 7th of December. I had forgotten that. And the email goes into my inbox for the Good to Know Monday morning tips. Anyway, I talked about that with him, and I want to go check it out. But I'm going to go over that a little bit later here. So here's what I had on my to-do list for today, right here. Right there, bam, done. So exciting. And I had some others too. Let me get those done right here. Yeah, there was this list of to-dos I got done as well. Bam, done. And this list I got done as well. So, man, I was been a busy camper today. My most important task today, though, was to review the Good to Know Monday Morning Tips email video setup that I had done. My fun task for today was to prepare a list of questions and the last few Ontoport integrations that need to get done and set up on my website. So that I decided later on during the week I would do a Zoom call. Well, my most exciting task for today was to plan out my week, which was going to be a big week because I knew I'd be having that Zoom call with the Ontoport folks on my second onboarding call and get all those last few things done on my website. So I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but let's go ahead through my end of the day success routine questions. Get honest with yourself, Marty. What didn't go well today, or what could you have done better today? Did you wake up early and start strong? Check. Did you start your morning with power and win the day? Check. Were you productive throughout your, you just saw all that I got done. Most important things done. Absolutely got them through the portal of my mind. Manifest into the world of physical. Did you move your goals forward? Well, every piece moves it forward. Did you show up as the person you wanted to today? For a Monday, I was so refreshed from yesterday. I hit the ground running. What about your personal time with Kathleen? Monday night togetherness. We had a wonderful evening. We're watching a lot of Hallmark movies, it appears to, leading up to Christmas. And I'm okay with that because I enjoy cuddling her and listening and laughing. And we almost know how to write these Hallmark shows. We know when they have to be the surprise or the misunderstanding or interruption right when they're going to kiss. We know all about that. So our personal time together has been fun. So she was present for me. I was present for her. Next are my end of the day success routine accountability questions. Were you honest with yourself about today's task, Marty? In other words, did you keep your promises that you made to yourself this morning? This morning, I promised myself that I would go through my notes and then type up the steps for doing my Good to Know Monday Tips video email so that it's really all ready to go and working properly as I get new folks to join it. Well, like I said, I had the first email in my inbox hit because I had signed up doing the test, and I forgot that it was set up for doing that, and it sent it out. I didn't set it up with a video. It was just the standard template email. It just hit my box, and it worked, and so now I have to go in and prepare 10 videos, maybe even 12, because he's got about 2.5 to 3 months of emails all set up, about 4 a month. So I got to get those all put in. So yes, I kept my promise that I made to myself this morning. Bam, done. Way to go, Marty. The next question is, what movies did you watch during your mindfulness time today, Marty? Did you make time for them? And were there any new instant replay movies that were called up onto the screen of your mind? Well, as always, I watch my must-see TV favorite 5 movies in my mindfulness time. And then I watched a few of my video journal videos and that I know I've done over the 341 that I've done. And I'm going to use some of them as my good to know Monday video tips. I can edit them and cut them down. I have over 341 now, and so I can edit them down, like I said, into a certain part where I go over what I'm grateful for. And they're short enough to be fun to watch and boom, go on to your day. And so I'm going to set them up in that email template so I have almost 2 months set up to go. I think people are going to love them. My next question says, what's the one thing that I would make all the difference going forward? What one thing can I do better tomorrow? Even if the day goes sideways getting it done, I'd still feel like success. What would that be? Well, I'm now focused on getting the remaining Ontoport tasks done as soon as possible. It's happening. It's the most important thing I can stay and focused on going forward. But the one thing I can do better about that each day going forward is, until the site's up, is to not get distracted. Don't get distracted. Stay narrowly focused. Get that done. That said, the power statement for tomorrow is going to say, when I'm done checking off the first task on the list for the day, I will start on the next task and continue doing the next task one at a time until either I'm done with them all or I run out of time for the day. The next question of my end of the day success routine is to ask myself, were there any mistakes or failures that you may have made today that I can turn into a tool of success going forward? Well, I worked through to the end of the day, checking off task after task of my remaining task list, and it's 2.5 pages, and I ran out of time. I didn't make any mistakes, nor did I have any failures today, and I certainly didn't get the whole list in, but I got several done, as I showed you, and there was no need to turn a failure into a tool of success. The next question is, what was your biggest success today, Marty? In other words, what did you do well today? Well, my biggest success today was fixing a glitch I found in one of the campaigns in Ontoport and not having to jump on a chat. I couldn't believe it. I went into it, saw it, and I knew exactly what to do. I remembered how to do it, and I didn't make any mistakes, and it worked perfectly when I tested it. Woohoo! I've come a long way, haven't I? That really gave me new confidence that I'm getting this app figured out, and that's exciting to me. Okay, my next end of the day success routine question asked me to rate my day, the day's effort. I decided to give today a 9. I still worked at the speed of 9 all day. I decided not to give myself a 10 because I by the end of the day, I had worked all the way up to where I had another task to do. And it was a big enough task that I went ahead and ended the day early. So I dinged myself a little bit. I could have started on that new task, but I knew it wouldn't be done by the time I needed to end my day. And so I just quit early. It was nice. Being your own boss gives you the luxury of saying, you can go. Anyhow, okay, I want to end the day strong. Here's what I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for the principle that says sometimes we need to trust that our disappointments may be our opportunities in disguise. Let me tell the story of someone whose life represents the power of a compelling future by changing his abilities, and whose life also reminds us that not achieving our intended goal may actually cause us to achieve a greater one. That man was the late Michael Landon, the actor. Why was this man beloved by so many? He represented many of the highest values within our culture: a strong sense of family, doing the right thing, consistency and integrity, and persistence in the face of adversity, along with a sense of deep caring and love. Let me quote now from Tony Robbins' book, The Giant Within. This man who brightened so many lives became a cultural hero through a rather indirect route. He grew up in a physically and emotionally abusive environment where his parents fought constantly, his father being Jewish and hating Catholics, and his mother being a Catholic who was also anti-Semitic. What a matchup. His mother frequently staged melodramatic suicide attempts and often pursued Michael to the local teen hangout where she'd jump out of a taxi to beat him with the coat hanger. Man! A chronic bedwetter by the time he reached high school, Michael was afflicted with uncontrollable facial tics and was making involuntary gulping sounds. He was skinny and filled with fear. This doesn't sound very much like the confident, self-assured patriarch, does it? What changed his life? One day in his sophomore year in high school, the gym teacher took the class out onto the football field to take a shot at throwing an old rusty javelin. Michael was about to have an experience that would reshape his view of himself forever. When his turn came, he approached the javelin with the same fear and lack of confidence with which he had approached everything else in his life up until then. But that day a miracle happened. Michael hurled that javelin forward and it flew out of the track area 30 feet farther than anyone else had thrown it, ever thrown it. In that moment, Michael knew he had a future. As he was to say later in an interview with Life magazine, quote, "On that day, I had found something I could do better than other people, something I could grab onto. And I grabbed it. I begged the coach to let me take that javelin home for the summer, and he let me. And I threw it, and I threw it, and I threw it." Michael had found his compelling future, and he pursued it with a ferocity of intensity. You can't imagine. The results were absolutely amazing. By the time he returned from summer vacation, his body had begun to transform. In his sophomore year, he began doing exercises to build his upper body. And by his senior year, he had broken the U.S. record for high school students in the javelin throw, winning an athletic scholarship to the University of Southern California, USC. To put it in his own words, Mouse had become a lion. How's that for a metaphor? That story doesn't end there. Part of Michael's strength emanated from a belief that he had developed by watching a movie about Samson and Delilah. Remember that? He believed that if he grew his hair long, he'd become strong. Indeed, it worked while he was in high school. Unfortunately, his belief was in for a rude awakening when he arrived at USC in the crew cut era of the 50s. A group of short-haired athletes slammed him to the ground and cut off his hair, his leonine locks. Even though intellectually he knew better, his strength immediately disappeared. In fact, his javelin throw dropped by more than 30 feet. As he pushed himself to match his past performances, he injured himself so badly that he was out for the entire year, and the athletic department made it so difficult for him, he was compelled to leave school. In order to support himself, he had to unload freight in a manufacturing plant. It looked as though his dream had died. How would he ever meet his vision of being an international track star? Fortunately, one day he was spotted by a Hollywood talent agent who asked him to try out for the part of Little Joe Cartwright in what would be the first color western on television, Bonanza. Remember that show? It was during my growing up years. After that, there was no looking back. Michael's career as an actor and eventually a director and a producer was launched. Missing his dream had given him his future back. But the pursuit of his original goals and the direction they took him sculpted both his physical body and his character, two of the elements of growth that were necessary to prepare him for his ultimate future. Sometimes we need to trust that our disappointments may truly be opportunities in disguise. That's the end of the quote in the book. Now, don't misunderstand this story's message. It doesn't mean that if you pursue your goals and meet with initial failure and frustration, you should just move on and do something else. Having a goal is the easy part. Who wouldn't want to write a best-selling book or lose weight or earn more money? Everyone wants these kinds of achievements. The real challenge is not determining if you want the results you seek, but if you're willing to accept the sacrifices required to achieve those goals. Do you want the lifestyle that comes with your great quest? Do you want the boring and ugly process that comes before the exciting and glamorous outcome? These principles lead to the next things I'm grateful for, which is the law of destiny, which says, the law of destiny determines what forces influence our lives to ensure we encounter the life experiences that we require for our continued development. Destiny is essentially a series of opportunities that enable us to learn lessons, acquire new abilities, develop our consciousness, and then help others. And that leads me to the next thing I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for Mark Manson, who said, rather than considering what kind of success we want, we should ask what kind of pain we want. Interesting, huh? It's easy to sit around and think what we could do or what we'd like to do. It is an entirely different thing to accept the trade-offs that come with our goals. Everybody wants a gold medal. Few people want to train like an Olympian. I think that's where I'm going to stop tonight and stumble a little bit. I'm kind of tired, but it's a great time to stop for the night. I'll be right back here tomorrow night at my laptop sharing some more thoughts, but until then, I wish you continued success. Good night.